The second special presentation, and this is recognizing climate resilience, presented by both Council Members Valenzuela and Councilmember Guerra.
I'll give my colleague a moment to get back up here and
okay.
get started. He was the co-chair of the Clean Air Day Committee last year. I was the co-chair this year, so it's with great honor that we're bringing this resolution today in recognition of Clean Air Day, which was last week. Clean Air Day is just one day, but is meant to provide an opportunity for folks to try something new, to solidify our commitment to pursuing not just emissions reductions, but climate justice. This means prioritizing active transportation, affordable housing, emergency shelter, and livable communities, while deprioritizing capital gains that run counter to our climate goals. In short, making environmental justice real means centering the needs of those who are most vulnerable and making it possible to live long, healthy lives. And I can think of no better person to receive this resolution tonight. So I will briefly introduce him and then pitch it to my colleague to give his points, if that's okay. But I want to make sure to credit Moiz Mir, who's here today to accept this resolution. He is Sunrise Movement here in Sacramento. He is staff at 350 Sacramento and the statewide nonprofit named Climate Plan. He was a member of the Mayor's Commission on Climate Change and was very recently named Environmentalist of the Year by the Environmental Council of Sacramento. So it is a great pleasure to have you here, Moiz, and I'll pitch it over to Eric for any comments.
Councilmember Valenzuela, Moiz, come on up. Then again, this was such great pride that we had a very strong and vocal community partnership this last week. But what we say is Clean Air Day shouldn't be one day. It has to be every day. And what we've seen so often is many of our communities, whether in North Sacramento or in South Sacramento, many of our communities are between freeways, adjacent freeways, railroad lines. And the impact on our young kids' lung development are drastically changed by all the particulates and the ozone that all of us use to commute every day. I think what was talked about is how we all can do our part. And Moiz here is a good example of it. You don't need to have an engineering degree. You don't need to have a PhD in environmental science to know that the stewardship of our air and our environment is critical, and it's only getting worse if we don't step up to do our part. I'm proud that the combination of folks on this dais here, whether they're on the RT board, whether they're on the Air District, Councilmember Laloe and I have who represents the North area, both Twin Rivers Unified School District, and now in Elk Grove, our work on the Air Board, the first and second largest electric school bus fleet in the nation. And so the fact that our kids are not sitting in buses with diesel particulates every day is a very positive thing. So I wanted to say thank you to all of those, the community partners, ECOS, RT, our board members, everyone taking part in making sure that we have a healthy environment for us. So, Moiz, thank you so much for being here today.
I'd like to start by thanking, first of all, Councilmember Valenzuela for inviting me, and also my own district representative, Councilmember Guerra. Thank you both. As mentioned, I would be remiss not to mention my role at Climate Plan, where as part of a statewide network, we communicate with organizations like the Coalition for Clean Air, which has championed Clean Air Day, which took place last Wednesday. Clean air, and as we talk about clean air and climate resilience, it's often hard to conceptualize these abstract concepts, but they're not abstract concepts. They're part of our day-to-day lives, whether that's, organizing parents and teachers and organizing students together in a school and coming up with an anti-idling campaign, or coordinating carpools so that we have less pollution put out right next to our students as they're getting picked up from school, or whether that's part of the day-to-day work that 350 Sacramento does. And before I jump into that, I wouldn't be able to, or as 350 Sacramento, we wouldn't be able to do projects like the one I'm about to describe without our exceptional partners in the community. There are so many groups across Sacramento that are doing so much exceptional work. Especially wanted to shout out United Latinos, NorCal Resist, the Community Resource Project, the Sacramento Native American Health Center, and the Sacramento Environmental Justice Coalition. And to briefly describe what this contraption is before you, this is a DIY air filter. One of the projects that 350 Sacramento is currently operating is hosting workshops where we provide for free to the community the materials to construct one of these. It is a box fan, a MERV 13 air filter, and duct tape put together. And when wildfire season comes, when climate crisis strikes and smoke is filling all of our houses, turning this on in your room will be able to grant clean air and access to folks who, especially if you have asthma or other health conditions, can make a real difference. It's just about as effective as a commercial air purifier that you could buy on the market. There are, of course, lots of different designs. UC Davis especially has the Corsi-Rosenthal method, which is one of these constructed with 4 filters, which is even more effective. And with that, I'd like to conclude.
Want to come on up and take a picture with us, please? You guys go.